Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are on chapter 29, The Worship of Idols. We're reading with the Course Companions, head by Emily Bennington and Robert Perry. We are reading out of the complete and annotated edition of A Course in Miracles, which is edited by Robert Perry. And today we are on section 2, The Coming of the Guest. If you'd like to close your eyes and join me in prayer. Dear Father, if left to my own devices, my perception will be skewed. I surrender to you everything that I think and feel. God, please take my past, plan my future. Send your Spirit to redeem my mind that I might be set free. May I be your channel, God, and serve the world. May I become who you would have me be, do what you would have me do, go where you would have me go, and say what you would have me say, and to whom, God? God, please allow me to set aside everything I think I know for an open mind and a new experience. Amen. The coming of the guest. Why would you not perceive it as release from suffering to learn that you are free? Why would you not acclaim the truth instead of looking on it as the enemy? Why does an easy path so clearly marked it is impossible to lose the way seem thorny, rough, and far too difficult for you to follow? Is it not because you see it as the road to hell, instead of looking on it as a simple way without sacrifice or any loss to find yourself in heaven and in God? Until you realize you give up nothing, until you understand there is no loss, you will have some regrets about the way that you have chosen, and you will not see the many gains your choice has offered you. Yet, though you do not see them, they are there. Their cause has been affected, and they must be present where their cause has entered in. You have accepted healing's cause. Footnote 4. Cause in this paragraph probably refers to what two holy relationship partners like Helen and Bill accept into their minds when they join. They accept the goal of holiness, the Holy Spirit's purpose, the atonement, and God. Cause in this sentence, healing's cause, is capitalized as it is in Helen's notes, probably because it refers specifically to God, since the previous chapter referring to God says that the cause of healing is the only cause of everything, which is God. And back to the text, you have accepted healing's cause, and so it must be you are healed. And being healed, the power to heal must also now be yours. The miracle is not a separate thing that happens suddenly as an effect without a cause, nor is it in itself a cause, but where its cause is, must it be. Now it is caused, though not as yet perceived, and its effects are there, though not yet seen. Look inward now, and you will not behold a reason for regret, but cause indeed for glad rejoicing and for hope of peace. It has been hopeless to attempt to find the hope of peace upon a battleground. It has been futile to demand escape from sin and pain of what was made to serve the function of retaining sin and pain. For pain and sin are one illusion, as are hate and fear, attack and guilt but one. Where they are causeless, their effects are gone, and love must come wherever they are not. Why are you not rejoicing? You are free of pain and sickness, misery and loss, and all effects of hatred and attack. No more is pain your friend, and guilt your God, and you should welcome the effects of love. Your guest has come. Footnote 5. Guest in this paragraph and the following one probably refers to the Holy Spirit. It may refer to God, yet on balance, the language is more characteristic of the Holy Spirit. Your guest has come. You asked him, and he came. You did not hear him enter, for you did not wholly welcome him. And yet his gifts came with him. He has laid them at your feet, and asks you now that you will look upon them and take them for your own. He needs your help in giving them to all who walk apart, believing that they are separate and alone. They will be healed when you accept your gifts, because your guest will welcome everyone whose feet have touched the holy ground whereon you stand and where his gifts for them are laid. Footnote 6. Exodus 3:5. Then God said to Moses, do not come near. Put off your shoes from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground. You do not see how much you now can give because of everything you have received. Yet he who entered in but waits for you to come where you invited him to be. There is no other place where he can find his host, nor where his host can meet with him, and nowhere else his gifts of peace and joy and all the happiness his presence brings can be obtained. For they are where he is that brought them with him, that they might be yours. You cannot see your guest, but you can see the gifts that he brought, and when you look on them, you will believe his presence must be there. For what you now can do could not be done without the love and grace his presence holds. And now please join with me in Robert Perry's commentary. This brief section has the potential to change our whole view of our journey along this path. I think most of us, though not all, see ourselves as trudging along this path without a huge amount of results. It seems thorny, rough, far too difficult to follow. It appears to ask for a lot of sacrifice and loss, and though we are told beautiful things about ourselves and God, we feel like we are still on the battleground, surrounded by conflict and in the grips of sin and pain. But that is not the reality of our situation. Instead, by placing ourselves on this path, we made a choice. It was a choice for truth, for God, for liberation from all pain and limitation. We may think that choice was weak and ineffectual, but it doesn't take much strength to push a detonator button. We have no idea of the power contained in our choice. In effect, we were inviting our guest, who seems in this section to be the Holy Spirit. Placing our feet on his path was an act of saying to him, will you come into my mind and my life? We didn't take our invitation that seriously because we only halfway meant it. And that was why we didn't hear the front door gently open and close. Ever since that moment then, the guest has been in the house with us. He took up residence in a room in the house that we never go into, perhaps the basement, the attic, or a spare room full of junk. This room, it turns out, was the home base of sin in our lives. From there, its rot and mold reached throughout the house. So our guest's first order of business was to clean out that room so that not a trace of the grime of sin remained. The result is that all the tentacles of pain and conflict that reached out from that room have lost their source. It is thus only a matter of time before they shrink and vanish. With the room clean, he then spread all his gifts around him on the floor. Magnificent gifts, the likes of which this world cannot offer. These gifts are miracles which have the power to heal us and to reach through our hands to heal others. All the healing and joy we have ever wanted is in that room, And all the relief and deliverance we have ever wanted to give to the hurting people in our life is also in that room. First of all, we just need to know it's there. The cause of everything beautiful and healing and holy is in our house, and all his effects came with him. We just need to appreciate that this is, in fact, the case. When we feel anxious and bereft of help, we need to remind ourselves of this all-important fact. My guest has come. I asked him and he came. Yet, of course, that is not all we need to do. We need to go to that room. Why wouldn't we want to do that? If we had a literal room in our house that was a holy ground in which the Holy Spirit waited for us, surrounded by his gifts, what could keep us away from that room? This room, of course, is not in our house. It is in our mind. Yet, that shouldn't make it any less attractive. We need to go into that room, open the door, and take off our shoes. The Holy Spirit will then lay at our feet the holy gifts he has been waiting to give us. Our first job is to just look on them and take them for our own. That will heal us. But obviously that is just the beginning. He needs your help in giving them to all who walk apart, believing that they are separate and alone. Indeed, since we can't see the Holy Spirit with our eyes, it is only as we see those gifts flow from our hands that we will believe his presence must be there. If we have made the choice for God, the choice to be on this path, then this is the reality of our lives. Our guest has come. His treasures are ours. Why not then consciously switch our picture of our lives to this one? Thank you so much for joining with me. Day 333 with the Course Companions group, The Coming of the Guest. And I will be taking a break, and I will be back on Monday with the reading for day 334. I'm taking a few days off as we are going away. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend. I love you.